They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they watch you.
Come on, hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
The Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000 was signed into law on 13th June 2000. It establishes and mandates the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, to carry out the following duties against corruption: enforcement, prevention, education, and public mobilization. ICPC continually develops strategies for robust enforcement and prevention regimes to address corruption in the polity. These strategies used by the Commission stem from the realization that enforcement is suitable for case-to-case situations, while prevention is suitable for overall system change and enduring reorientation in the society. ICPC's enforcement strategies include petition-led investigations, intelligence-led investigations, sting operations, tax payment profiling in investigations that involve private sector companies, prosecution and non-conviction-based asset seizure and forfeiture. The categories of persons caught in the enforcement net include former governors, ministers, commissioners, heads of MDAs, CEOs, directors, legislators, local government chairmen, civil servants, judicial staff, academicians, fraudsters, bankers, insurers, stockbrokers, etc. On prevention, the Commission's aim is to reduce opportunity for corruption by strengthening organizational systems. ICPC employs the following result-oriented corruption prevention strategies: partnership with Bureau of Public Procurement and Bureau for Public Enterprise for transparency in public procurement processes, active support for GIFMIs and IPPIS e-governance platforms for prudent management of public funds, review of personnel expenditures of MDAs, which has saved government huge sums, review of primary health projects in collaboration with National Primary Healthcare Development Agency to ensure the completion of projects, monitoring of government's special purpose funds, establishment of anti-corruption and transparency units, ACTUs, in MDAs with a view to having eyes and ears embedded in the MDAs.
In all my undertakings, that I will, to the best of my ability, take necessary lawful steps to curb corrupt practices, and mobilize others.
ICPC carries out sector-specific system study and review as well as corruption risk assessment. The aim is to identify corruption loopholes and plug them. There are several of such studies and assessment exercises conducted by ICPC. So far, the fourth sector reform currently ongoing with the collaboration of stakeholders provides a shining example of the Commission's work in this regard, with the standard operating procedures of all agencies at the ports globally visible on the web portal www.pssp.ng.
I'm extremely pleased to be here on this momentous occasion, the launch of the Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs, for all government agencies operating at Nigerian ports, as well as the launch of the Port Service Support Portal, PSSP. It is indeed heartwarming to learn of these laudable initiatives undertaken by the Ministry of Transportation in conjunction with the Nigerian Shippers Council, the Technical Unit on Governance and Anti-Corruption Reforms, TUGA, and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the ICPC. We believe that a technology-driven public service delivery is the way forward. And this is one of the reasons why we think that the PSOs and PSSPs will make a significant contribution and will continue to do so with increasing use of technology to drive them. I once again congratulate Honorable Rotimi Amici and the Federal Ministry of Transportation and all of the agencies that are concerned with the drawing up of this new regime and all the stakeholders in this project. I'm honored to now proceed to launch the Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs, and the Port Service Support Portal, PSSP, to the glory of God and the benefit of Nigeria and humanity. Thank you.
Other examples of ICPC system reforms include the corruption risk assessment of procedures at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and the MDGs related ministries of health, water, and education. The Commission has also conducted a review of the university system in Nigeria, focusing on a sample of each of the federal, state, and private institutions. This exercise led to the development of an integrity template for institutions, the closure of illegal degree awarding universities, and prosecution of proprietors. The Commission also monitors the implementation of specific government policies and special purpose funds for accountability and transparency. In terms of public education and mobilization strategies, ICPC has established the following: youth integrity initiatives, citizen participation platforms, citizen access platforms, National Anti-Corruption Coalition, National Anti-Corruption Volunteer Corps, Anti-Corruption NYSC groups, anti-corruption vanguards, and anti-corruption clubs. The Commission also encourages citizens to actively hold public officers to account on the handling of public finances. It has engaged the citizens on how they can get involved in the budgetary process at the grassroots. In order to develop an early warning signal against corrupt acts, ICPC has created a synergy with professional bodies and trade associations. This is to help nip corrupt acts within the professions.
Furthermore, as part of our capacity building, I want to tell the Commission that ICAN has been engaged in training forensic accountants since 2009. And to date, we have trained close to 500 forensic experts. And I want to plead with the Commission to make use of the services of these experts in addition to my colleagues that are in the Commission and other chartered accountants that who will add value, continue to add value to your Commission.
We're looking to give some funding and training and development for the ICPC, trying to assist bringing some of the officers in Nigeria up to a similar level of so they can combat anti-corruption in Nigeria, same as what we would do in the United Kingdom. Actually, I was surprised. Yeah. It's probably the most advanced training facility I've seen in Nigeria so far, and I've been to a few academies so far with various other organisations. It seems to be well maintained, and the equipment is quite modern as well. So that was
The Commission has established a robust relationship with foreign embassies to reduce sharp practices in the processing of visas. Its activities in this regard have led to the arrest and prosecution of many members of visa racketeering gangs. The result of this is that considerable sanity has now been restored to the visa acquisition process in the country, to the joy and commendation of embassy officials. ICPC has established the Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, ACAN, as a specialized institution for training and research into the causes of corruption and its antidotes, in order to provide government with evidence-based findings to combat corruption. ICAN boasts of some of the best facilities available locally on e-learning and computer-based tests.
The most important thing will be our launch out to the institutions, the academic institutions. You know that already the ICPC has worked with the NLDC to develop the National Values Curriculum. But that captures those at the basic education level. We want to take it to the level of the tertiary institutions. As of now, the University of Calabar has launched its General Studies course in anti-corruption. But we want to work with our tertiary institutions, polytechnics, colleges of education, and the university system through their respective regulatory agencies to introduce anti-corruption modules into the curriculum in the university system. So all these are areas we're looking at in terms of expanding our reach, expanding our focus, such that we have a sustainable system that addresses the educational system from primary to the university, to the graduate, to the tertiary level. You see, we want to reach people with knowledge, so that by the time they get into the work world, they're going there with values. If you have a brilliant person, a brilliant worker, who doesn't have ethical values, is the one that will destroy your organization. As we are training our people through the education system, we want them to be coming up with the appropriate values as they are going along. That will ensure that by the time they get to the world of work, the environment in which they are being socialized in will be one that they themselves can define. Because if you don't define your environment, the environment will constrain you. Many people get sucked into the attitude of, if you can't beat them, you join them. But what a situation where you go to the work of world, or the world of work, with the attitude that I must change the system, not get sucked into it. And what better way to do it than through the education system?
The Academy conducts trainings for public officers, including legislators from the 6 geopolitical zones, local government chairmen and ACTU members across MDAs. The prime motivation is to equip such public officers with an integrity mindset. ICPC has a very robust non-conviction assets recovery record. The Commission's chairman is vested with the power to seize assets deemed by the Act to be proceeds of corruption after due warrants have been obtained from the court. Consequently, ICPC has successfully recovered and seized many assets in terms of cash, houses, plots of land and vehicles from corrupt public officers. Some of the perpetrators are currently being tried in various courts of law across the country. The frontiers of the Commission's activities have been extended to assisting weak and voiceless individuals, such as pensioners, patients, students, etc., whose entitlements or benefits have been deprived them by government agencies or corporate bodies through acts of omission, commission, or outright corruption by officials. Such human angle interventions have brought redress and considerable succor to the individuals concerned. ICPC has developed various mechanisms for inculcating integrity and moral rectitude in the populace. These include the drawing up of an ethics and compliance scorecard for use in MDAs, the development and deployment of a national values curriculum at basic, post-basic and colleges of education, as well as the accompanying teacher's guide for the national values curriculum, the development of a draft national ethics and integrity policy, which is awaiting endorsement by the federal government. The Commission has also created various media platforms for engagement with the people, among which are its website, www.icpc.gov.ng, toll-free telephone lines 0800 Call ICPC, and the mobile phone app, Wahala Day. These platforms provide a veritable channel for citizens to report corruption as well as receive feedback from ICPC. Indeed, ICPC has made giant strides in discharging its anti-corruption mandate. Its impact and reach out across government offices at federal, state, and local government levels, educational institutions, legislative houses, judiciary, private sector, and the ordinary citizenry. The war is far from being won, but progress is steady with enforcement, sustainable institutional reforms, and mobilization for attitudinal change. The Commission enjoins all Nigerians in all the various walks of life to be sincere agents of change, embrace integrity, and act against corruption for development and progress in the country.